UFC 300 is getting this much closer, and we just got a bunch of announcements that I haven't talked about because your boy has been eepy. But that's about to change. We're about to talk about it right now. So let's go into the card so far. So these are the fights that have been announced. We do have another fight that just got announced today, I think, or yesterday. So we'll talk about that after. But so far, ever since my last video, that was like a week or two ago, about is UFC 300 dead, we have gotten Bobby Green versus Jim Miller, Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt, and the BMF belt is on the line between Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. So we got 3 more fights that were just added from my last video. And people are like hype and not hype, and I feel like the hype is going, it's like a weird graph. It was like going down, then it went up because Charles Oliveira, and then Zhang Weili fight got announced, and then went down again. Justin Gaethje and Jim Miller and Cody Garbrandt, it went up, and now it's going down again. Because we also got this fight announced. Kayla Harrison is stepping into the UFC, finally, even though she was kind of fraud checked. I don't know, I don't really watch the PFL, but didn't she lose to someone who had a negative record or something? Can Crusher, you know? So, Holly Holm's going to welcome Kayla Harrison into the UFC. So, we'll get to that fight later, but we'll talk about the newer fights. Bobby Green versus Jim Miller, I'm excited for that. It's like a veteran fight. Jim Miller deserves it. I know Daniel Cormier was like kind of shitting on him about like, oh, he shouldn't be placed in the Hall of Fame because someone's going to beat his record for most wins in the UFC. Bro, come on. He's been fighting since, 2008? It's 2024. This man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's had a good career, and he's still going. I think the other person is Andrei Arlovsky, but before that it was Donald Cerrone, but Donald Cerrone retired. Andrei Arlovsky is probably going to retire soon. I feel like Jim Miller's going to outlast both of them. Well, he's already outlasted Donald Cerrone. So, anyway, I think this is a good fight. I know Jim Miller called for, I forgot who he called for. I know he joked around with Brock Lesnar, but he wanted to fight someone else who was another veteran. But I think the Bobby Green fight is good for him. And Bobby Green is like kind of up there. I don't think he's ranked anymore because he lost to Jalen Turner. No, he still might be ranked. He might be like 15. So this is a good fight. He could potentially get back in the rankings. Or even if Bobby Green isn't in the rankings, he's probably like 16 or 17, somewhere in there, top 20. Jim Miller can get up. I don't think he's close to top 20 because Bobby Green was just ranked after he beat, what's his name, Dawson or something, I'm pretty sure. After he knocked him out, he got placed in the rankings. Whatever. Anyway, good fight. I think this is a good veteran scrap. I expect a lot out of this fight. Jim Miller brought it. Forgot who he fought on the Johnny Walker card, but he subbed that dude in the 3rd round. Shout out him. I'm excited for that fight. Davison Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt, I'm excited for this fight too. I'm actually surprised that this fight got booked because Davison Figueiredo's, he beat Rob Font, who was like top 10, sub-top 10 maybe, like 11 or 12, and he's going down in the rankings to fight Cody Garbrandt, which is fine. I think this is going to be a banger fight. I'm picking Davison Figueiredo all the way. I really like Cody Garbrandt. He's one of the few people I want a resurgence from. It's Johnny Walker. Unfortunately, Johnny Walker resurgence took a halt to Magomed Ankalaev. So maybe Cody Garbrandt. I think Cody Garbrandt versus Dominic Cruz 2 would have been a better addition. But this is fine. I like this fight. I think Davison Figueiredo is going to kill Cody Garbrandt because Figueiredo is, he proved that he's good with the striking still. His power, I think, translates. I think he dropped Rob Font or rocked him, and his grappling's there. So I don't know what, unless Cody Garbrandt shocks us all and fucking knocks him out or something. But I think I'm taking Davison Figueiredo all the way. And then the last edition, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. This is a good fight. I peep fucking Lucas Tracy and some other people are like, oh my god, Max Holloway's going to ruin his career because he's not actually trying to move up. I think this is a serious move up. I feel like Max Holloway's stuck at featherweight, and he's just not going to clear out all the fucking contenders for Volkanovski. Maybe if Ilya Topuria beats Volkanovski, he could open up Max Holloway going back and getting the title. But why? In the meantime, why not move up to lightweight and potentially get ranked in there? Have fun fights. Justin Gaethje's ranked, 2? So if he somehow pulls the upset and beats Gaethje, now he's ranked number 2 in lightweight. So I don't see how this is like a fake move up. I do believe that Max believes that he could beat Gaethje. Otherwise, he wouldn't take the fight, right? He's not doing it for a paycheck. Max is with the shits, and he's always down to fight anyone. So I think this is a good fight. I'm excited for this. This helped a lot. I feel like this helped the card a lot because now we're getting more. This is definitely main card. Like I said, it's gonna be all title fights. I mean, this is a BMF belt. I know people don't like the BMF belt, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as people say it is. Video for another time. But I think this is a good addition to the card. And now on to the Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm fight. I'm not excited for this fight whatsoever. It'll be really bad if Holly Holm fraud checks Kayla Harrison, can crush her. I don't know how Kayla Harrison's going to make 135 like this. I agree. I'm liking that. She waited for Nunes to retire. That's a good point. Yeah, but I don't know why not sign Cyborg back. Cyborg would clear out the whole division. But yeah, maybe after, now that they signed Kayla Harrison, maybe they'll sign Cyborg and then they could fight finally. That would be cool. But anyway, I'm not excited for this fight. I don't really care for Kayla Harrison. And Holly Holmes is like, she's good, but the women division is really weak, and Holly Holmes is kind of up there in age. I don't know if she still has it. I don't know how old Kayla Harrison is, but I'm not excited for this fight whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna expect Kayla Harrison to win because I think she's a younger fighter, and she's huge. I think she fought at lightweight in the PFL, which is fucking ridiculous. So I don't know how she's gonna make 135. I agree with this dude right here. So we'll see what happens. But if anyone were to fraud check Kayla Harrison, it would be Holly Holmes. So now that we discussed all the new fights and what I think about them, we're going to go back. Like in my other video, I made like a guess of how the organization of the card is going to be. And I actually wrote it down this time so it's easier for you guys. So the fight that's at the top is going to be what I think the first fight is. So we got the UFC 300 card organization. For the early prelims, I still think Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage is going to be the first fight. Because I don't see him beating any of these other guys. He's definitely not main card. I don't think he's going to beat any of the guys for the main card. There's too many big names for the prelims. I don't think he's going to be on the prelims. If anything, he might be the last early prelim. I could see that happening, but I don't think so. The UFC might do it, but I don't think they should. So yeah, for the first fight of the night, we got Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. It's gonna probably end in like 5 seconds. Next up, I think we have Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. I feel like these two fights could be interchangeable. Like Davison Figueiredo could go next after Bo Nickel, and then Bobby Green versus Jim Miller can be the last fight of the early prelims. But I'm more confident in having Bobby Green versus Jim Miller as the second fight of the night, and then Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt being the third fight on the early prelims. And so I'm pretty confident this is going to be the organization of the early prelims. I don't see why they would put any of these guys down there in favor of anyone over here. So I'm pretty confident in this. If anything, I think this is a lock. So those are my predictions. And then for the normal prelims, they're usually 4 to 5. I'm hoping we get 5 main card fights instead of 5 prelims. So that's why I put 5 down here. But anyway, for the prelims, first fight of the prelims, I think is going to be Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling, because no offense to Aljamain, I don't know if he's nearly as big of a draw as Yuri Prochazka or Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan, because I know Rakic is not a fucking big name, but Arman Tsarukyan made himself a big name by being ranked number 3 or 4, and then Oliveira is Oliveira. Everybody loves him. And I know people are going to be like, oh, what? You have Kayla Harrison as the featured prelim and not Charles Oliveira? I personally think Charles Oliveira is the featured prelim, but the UFC is like, oh my God, we finally signed, what does it say? 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, right? I think that's what she is. People are going to try to like make it a big deal, like, oh my God, we signed Kayla Harrison finally. She's the featured prelim. I don't think she's featured prelim worthy. I definitely think it's my boy Oliveira. That's why I put unfortunately, because I feel like the UFC is going to do that. I personally wouldn't. I would probably put it down as the first fight on the prelims, but I'm pretty sure they're going to make it the featured prelim because they're like, oh my God, all eyes are going to be on the featured prelim before the main card. Put Kayla Harrison. Let's try to make her a big name. But I'm hoping Holly Holmes fraud checks her, but I'm pretty sure Kayla Harrison's going to just take her down and destroy her or something. Just like what Misha Tate did to Holly Holmes. So, unfortunately, I think this is most likely going to happen. I don't want it to, but I don't control the UFC. So, these are my predictions. Calvin Kattar's first fight of the prelims. Yuri Prochazka's second. Then Oliveira, and then future prelim is Kayla Harrison, unfortunately. And for the main card, I put Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway as the opening fight on the main card because I don't think they would put the BMF belt over an actual title fight. Because the BMF belt, sure, it's a title, but it's more like a fun title. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like an actual title. You're not, like, champion of anything. It's just, like, a little cool title to give people as a souvenir or something, you know? Which I don't think is a problem. I think it's fun. It gives us a reason to put cool fights together. I mean, you can put cool fights together anyway. But some people like the BMF belt, and I think Max Holloway deserves the BMF belt. Justin Gaethje, I don't know. He was kind of annoying with his whole diva. Like, sure, he fought Fiziev, but he's like, oh, I deserve a title shot. Calm down, buddy. I'm just glad he's not fighting Islam. So, yeah, I think this is going to be the first fight on the main card. Like I said, I'm predicting all title fights for the main card. And this is technically a title. It's a BMF title, so I'm still correct in that aspect. So I'm going to give myself a dub in there. And then we got Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan. As the second fight, because I don't think it's going to be main or co-main. I'm still hoping. I'm pretty sure we're only going to get 4 main card fights. I'm pretty sure we're going to get 5 prelims. But so I guess I'll get rid of that, unfortunately. No, I can see 5 main card fights. Yeah, I can see 5 main card fights, actually. So, we have 3 more fights left. Dana White did say he's going to announce the main event for UFC 300 soon. My predictions are, what titles aren't up for grabs right now? I definitely think Alex Pereira might be the main event. Let's see if I can... Is that how you... I'm pretty sure that's how you spell his name. I don't know if Jamal Hill is healed yet, but I'm going to put Jamal Hill here. That's what I think the main event's going to be. And for the 2 other fights, like I said, maybe Pantoja is going to come back. I could see that being the co-main. I don't know who he's going to fight. But I could... Oh, no, you know what? I know what it is. And maybe Pantoja. Or maybe Aspinall. Aspinall said he was going to fight Stipe. But Stipe declined, so I don't think he's going to fight. Who else? So, heavyweight title is already booked. Light heavyweight title is right here. Middleweight title just had a fight. Maybe Dricus could come back. Okay, this is best case scenario. Okay, those are my predictions for the final 3 fights. So I think it's going to be Gaethje, Max Holloway, Zhang Weili, and Yan Xiaonan. Dricus said UFC 300 sounds good, and it's still 3 months out. I could see him healing up and getting back into training camp. It might be too soon, but he says it sounds good. And if anything, it could be Hamzat, which I don't think it should be. I think it should be Adesanya versus Hamzat. But I could see this happening. And would that make UFC 300 a banger card? Maybe. I could see Adesanya. Obviously, I'll do this just to help my brain. Okay, no. Okay, I guess not. That's what I could see happening. So I think it would be because I think Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill will headline. And then maybe Dricus du Plessis versus Adesanya as the co-main. Because I don't see it... I don't see the middleweight title being above the light heavyweight title. So yeah, I think that's how it would work. Because I definitely think Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad is going to be a lock for 300. Alex Pereira teased that he's going to come back. And I don't know if Jamal Hill is healed yet, but I think if he were to fight anyone, it would be Jamal Hill. Because Blachowicz is out. Prochazka is already booked. Who else? Johnny Walker just fought Magomed Ankalaev. He could potentially fight Magomed Ankalaev, but I'm not sure. I think it'll be Jamal Hill. And then Dricus du Plessis did call out Adesanya. And I don't think Adesanya would want to miss out on UFC 300 because that's a big card. And that fight is a big fight. And Adesanya, unfortunately, is a big name, so I could see that happening. And then Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad just makes sense because who else? That's the one they're going to go for. Or Shavkat. I don't think Shavkat's going to jump Bilal. I think they promised Bilal a title shot how many times already? Like I said, I could see Adesanya versus Hamzat. But Hamzat says he's going to get a title fight. He could fight Dricus du Plessis for the title, but I don't think that's possible. I think this is a lock, but I'm not too confident. I think Pereira and Edwards are a lock. The co-main event, I don't think is going to be... I'm not too confident as a lock, but this is what I think could happen. Because du Plessis did say UFC 300 sounds good for him. And he did call out Adesanya, and I don't think Adesanya is going to wait out too long. I don't think he's going to miss the opportunity to fight on UFC 300. It'll be unfortunate if du Plessis and Adesanya doesn't main event Africa card. But, you know, they already fumbled the bag with the China card, so who knows? That's my official predictions for what I think is going to happen. I think this is a solid card. These are all title fights. And I feel like that adds to the, not the prestige. Yeah, the prestige of UFC 300. You have all title fights on the main card. You have big names on the prelims and pretty big names on the early prelims. I think this is a decent card. I don't know if I would put this over UFC 299. I think I would. But it's not by a lot. Because my boy Dricus is fighting. My boy Pereira is fighting. My boy Max is fighting. My boy Charles Oliveira is fighting. So I definitely would put this over UFC 299 on the hype list. Like I said, it hasn't been confirmed. These are just my predictions. I think this is what would happen. And I think these are all good fights. Leon Edwards versus Bilal is going to be definitely boring. But I can see Dricus pushing the pace against Adesanya. And Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Someone's guaranteed to get fucking slept. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. I think Gaethje, if anyone were to crack Holloway's chin, it would be Gaethje. So that has the allure of is Max going to get knocked out? You know what I'm saying? And for the BMF title, fuck it, why not? And then Zhang Weili versus Yan Jianan, that's a cool fight. I don't know if it's 300 worthy, but it's an entertaining fight. And then I don't really care for Kayla Harrison, but these three fights I'm excited for, and then these three fights I'm excited for. So if anything, I would say there's only really one fumble with the Kayla Harrison fight, but that's okay. And the matchmaking between this, Calvin Kattar, and Aljamain, I definitely think it should have been Brian Ortega. I agree with Lucas Tracy and MMA Guru in that aspect. But it is what we got, and I'm not mad about it. I think it's going to be fun. Aljamain's striking's pretty decent. He's very awkward on the feet, and he could rely on his grappling if he wants to. I don't know if Kattar's grappling is entirely there to compete with Aljamain, but the striking would be good, and seeing him potentially match him in the ground game would be entertaining too. So I think that's fine. I think that card is fine. Like I said, it's very close between 299 and 300. But I feel like adding Pereira and the middleweight title would definitely boost it up a little bit. I know people hate Dricus du Plessis. I'm actually going to talk about 297 later this week. I just wanted to talk about this first because I'm waiting for something special to wear for that Dricus video, and it's unfortunately not going to arrive until later. UFC 300 doesn't seem too bad, doesn't seem too crazy like it should. There's no McGregor on here. There's no fucking crazy fights. There's no Robert Whittaker. It's fine. It's fine. If this is what we get, that's fine. I'm still going to watch it. It's a good fight. Like I said, main card has all title fights, so that's enticing to casual audiences, and Adesanya being on there, Pereira being on there, Oliveira being on there, Gaethje and Max being on there, it helps it a lot. So yeah, I think that is my official predictions for UFC 300. And I think it's pretty good. Like I said, 299 and 300 are probably... I could see why someone would put 299 over 300, but I feel like they're more even now if they finish it off with those 3 fights that I just typed. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want. You know, I ain't gonna force you, but you know, your boy's trying to hit that 500. But yeah, thank you for watching. Check out more videos on my channel. But I'm gonna put the 2 Drickus videos up actually, because he just won the title. So click here for the Drickus videos. And yeah, thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.